I thought it was hysterical. This is not just so I can do the impression, so I can tell you that
No,
she went, don't give up on your faith. Love comes to those who believe. And I was like, love. And I thought that was so funny. So I kept going, love.
Hello, Christina Bianco, and welcome to Theatre Therapy Thursdays, a West End best friend. Woo!
Thank you very much for having me. Very happy to be doing this with you.
Live from New York City, Christina Bianco. For the people out there who don't know who Christina Bianco is, who is Christina Bianco?
I am a singer, actor, and impressionist from New York City, New York, the correct way to pronounce it. Yeah, the only other thing to really mention about me is that in addition to doing lots of theater, I had a lot of YouTube videos go viral in which I was doing said impressions. So some people think, oh, she's that girl from the YouTube, and have no idea I've spent my entire life doing theater. Other than that, I am very, very short. I'm 4'11", which is in most circumstances deemed too small to exist. I'm a big dog lover, and I am 100% Italian in my heritage, so I'm a big eater, which makes it difficult because, like I said, I'm 4'11". That pretty much covers me.
Talking about, obviously, impression, that is what you are known for on the wildest scale, like your viral YouTube videos. How did you get into impressions? When did you realise that you could do an impression? And then when did you realise, oh wait, I can't just do Barbara Streisand. Actually, I can do Patti LuPone, I can do Idina Menzel.
According to my parents, the story goes, I was always singing and always doing voices. I had a natural ear for mimicry, but I didn't have an awareness of it. I didn't take ownership of it. Gosh, not until I got out of college. And even after that. No, when I was little, I would, according to my parents, I would sing along to whatever was playing on the radio or the television, and I would take on the tone and the style of a particular vocalist when I would sing along. So if it was, Mary Poppins, they would hear me, sing like Christina, then kind of stop, and then sort of sing with a weird sort of accent like Julie Andrews, or change my vibrato speed at a very young age. The first time I was aware of it, like, oh, this is an impression and people are interested. Maybe I should do this again. I was in, I keep getting the date wrong. I think it was junior high for me in the US. It's like when you're 12 and 13. And there was a Celine Dion song out, and I'm 90% sure it was, "That's the way it is." I thought it was hysterical. This is not just so I can do the impression, so I can tell you that she went, don't give up on your faith. Love comes to those who believe. And I was like, love. And I thought that was so funny. So I kept going, love. And I was at this party and I was singing along, and I did that part pretty loudly. And the person next to me was like, oh my God, wait, can you do that again? Like, what was that? Like, oh my God, listen, she's doing Celine Dion, come here. And all of a sudden there were these people around me, like a circle of kids around me being like,
do Celine again.
Dance, monkey dance, as I said, and I was sort of like, what is this? But I remember it felt good. I was always used to entertaining, but I never meant to entertain in that way. I see an audition notice for Forbidden Broadway. It was an open call for, Actors Equity. And I thought, it wouldn't be embarrassing if I went. I knew I could do Celine, and I had an inkling from my parents chuckling that I could pull off a little Bernadette Peters or Julie Andrews again, pretty much because I was singing along. But I thought, I'll just go and I'll focus on those impressions that I think they're going to use, and I'll see if I can throw in some new ones. But all of a sudden, I woke up and it was like I was reviewed as this great impressionist, and the phone started ringing and the emails started coming in. Can you come perform that number and some other impressions at this particular event?
What was it like for you growing up admiring Forbidden Broadway, going back time and time again, and then getting it?
I'll never forget it because I was working with people that had been a part of that show, the creative team, for about, at the time when I joined, it was like 29 years or something like that. And I was like 20. I was like 26 when I got it. Like, it was crazy, So anyway, I was working with some people who it was old hat. I don't want to say they were over it. When you've done something that long, it's like they're not impressed by their own show anymore. And a lot of the cast had been doing it for seasons and seasons. And I was the only brand new person in the team. And I was definitely looking at it all with these rose-colored glasses. And they're all sort of like, yep, here's another show. So some of them really loved my energy and my enthusiasm for it. And they were very vocal about the fact that I helped bring them a little more joy in the process. Yeah. I never would have been able to make my West End debut if it wasn't for having done Forbidden Broadway in New York and having those YouTube videos. So bringing them together like that was definitely the moment of my life where even people in New York that have done Forbidden Broadway for years, it's always been off Broadway. They actually had a few opportunities to bring it to Broadway and wanted to keep it small. But
Yeah.
I got to do it in the West End.
Because obviously you've done impressions for so long. You've toured in your shows for so long and Forbidden Broadway and the West End. Funny Girl.
Yay! You can talk about my favorite thing as much as you want.
What like because I remember you saying in your cabaret in Edinburgh, because I was like, oh my god, she's going to do Funny Girl, I love it, and you were like, I'm going to be doing Funny Girl and I will be doing it as me.
Me,
not
Barbra Streisand.
Do you feel that pressure as an impressionist that people would expect you to do?
It's not pressure. I feel that I knew I was never going to do it as Barbra Streisand. I never had a moment of not a moment's hesitation. So it was more of that fear that people would criticize it.
What was it like? Funny Girl, Paris, Stephen Meek.
I had so many dreams come true doing that show. As an American, I definitely love and glorify Europe. Every time I perform somewhere in a foreign country, it's like, oh my god, for me it's a humongous deal.
Yeah.
Paris, come on. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous.
Everyone who I know that saw it said it was absolutely incredible, and which I'm really happy about, but also livid because I didn't get to see it.
I know, I'm so sorry.
As an artist within lockdown, what have you been doing to keep yourself sane? Keep it going?
The first thing is I shut down a little bit, the way lots of people do when you're just dealing with everything, trying to focus. And I did not like the pressure that was immediately put out there saying like, this is your time, artist. This is your time to better yourself and fix your book and put out your content. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm also mourning like civilization right now. So I'm going to deal with this in my own time. I did put out some funny little videos at first, my little, what do I call them? Diva Madness. Like when I wanted to be creative, I was, and I did it in little ways that kept me sane and made me laugh. Like I entertained myself. That was important to me. But after I did that, I was pretty quiet for a while because I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay engaged and make the content that I wanted to make when I was not in a good spirit, when I wasn't in a good way. But what I did do was I said yes to almost every inquiry I received, performing something that was pre-recorded for a charity event, for a concert, for a theater, to raise funds for Actors Fund and Equity and the TDF, Theater Development Fund. And so when I was able to say, okay, well, today I'm feeling good right now, let me film this. And so that way I was able to contribute to a larger project, a project that was not just about myself. I will say I said yes to too many things. I got very, very stressed. And then I found myself being reluctant to film some of them. And I was like, that's not what we're going to do. So you have to say no and say no right now, but please ask me again in a few weeks and keep me in the mix, because I want to be helpful. But everybody was putting out so much content at once. I found it very overwhelming. And I'm the audience to watch them. And if I had no time to watch them because I was too busy filming them, that was a problem. But also, if all of my friends are doing something at once and there were 10 programs and live streams or little events or quizzes to do at once,
to keep up,
that was too much as well. So I took a pause and I put out little short bits of content that said make me happy, or with friends that I've not been able to connect with or work with in person, putting out little videos together, even filmed via Zoom like this. So that brings me joy, and hopefully brings joy to other people and makes them smile. And I'm finally ready to do a live stream concert, and I'm going to do it on Thursday, June 18th. 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so it's evening for everybody in the UK.
8 p.m.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people tell you how you should act and how you should cope. And I'm not of that mind. I think that to get through this trying time, and it is much more difficult for some people than others. Some people are going to work or have spouses or family members that are going to work. Some people have roommates or family members or husbands or wives that they can be with and communicate and get their feelings out. Some people are alone. Some people have no work. Some people have no prospect of work after this is over. Like most of my performing friends, we're all very scared of what the future will bring. So you can't just turn on and be like, I'm going to put out content today. No, you can't do that. It's a challenge to just get in the shower, So I think that you're allowed to do that. I think, though, that entertainment does heal, whether you're producing it yourself, My dog agrees. Whether you're producing it yourself or whether you're watching it. And I think that if you need to sit down and watch your favorite stupid feel-good comedy, then please do that as much as you can to stay positive and stay in a mindset that can then be productive and then be useful. So just you do, it sounds so cheesy, but please, you do you. I'm after a few months now I'm finally ready to take on a bigger project and do something like a live stream concert. And I want to do it right as well, right for me. You know, I'm used to a certain level of performance and production, and I just didn't want to sing with a karaoke track a cappella, you know, I mean, without a mic. So I've done the research and have been able to do it in a time where there's no income, to spend a little bit of money on the things I thought I'd use again in future. It's not easy to do any of that. It's not quick. I don't just want to click random things in Amazon and send them to my house and not know how to use them and waste money. So I had to put a lot of thought and effort into it, and I think I will put on a good show.
Yeah, you will. So now we're going to move into a little section that I like to call How to Succeed in Quizness Without Really Trying.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So, Christina Bianco,
yes.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions based on credits from your career. So 1
oh boy.
will be a girl question. 2 will be a Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat related question.
Yeah.
And the 3rd question will be a Forbidden Broadway related question.
Oh, I'm excited and scared. Let's do it.
Number 1, your funny girl question. What was the original title of the musical Funny Girl?
I don't have a clue.
My Man.
Really? The song that wasn't even in the show?
Intriguing.
I never would have known that because it's not in the show. None of Fanny Bryce's original songs are in the show. They're in the movie. I focused on Fanny Bryce. I did not focus on the building of the actual musical, so I'm sorry about that. But I can tell you Fanny Bryce's real name.
Go for it.
Fanny Aborach.
The original Broadway production of Joseph failed to win any Tonys. True or false?
Funny Girl didn't win any Tonys. Did Joseph fail to win it? I'm going to say true.
True, correct.
Yeah, okay. All these shows that nobody won Tonys for. Great.
And finally, your Forbidden Broadway question. How many times has Forbidden Broadway won the Drama Desk for Outstanding Review?
Not enough. 28 years, 30 years.
It's been nominated 5 times.
So only 5 in 28 years?
Bad. So it's been
That's
nominated 5 times for the Drama Desk, and it has won...
3?
Correct!
I just guessed! Maybe I heard that at some point in my tenure.
Bianco.
All right. I knew really none of them, so well done.
So it's Theatre Therapy Thursday, so we're here obviously because we love musical theatre. Both of our careers is what we love. It's also our hobbies, because I'm a geek too. Let's talk about the therapy that theatre gives us. For me, cast recordings have always been a huge thing for me. They're my life force. I had quite an eclectic taste of music in high school, but I would always have reams of cast recordings. And if you looked on my phone or my Apple Music, it would be probably workout music for when I do exercise a lot. And just cast recordings. Christina Bianco, if I chucked you on a desert island and I'm waving the ship away and I'm saying, I can give you a cast recording for eternity, just one. What cast recording am I casting you from the ship to the island?
1?
1.
Dear God. Okay. Can I talk it out?
Yeah.
This is an Italian New Yorker. Normally I would say Into the Woods because it's my favorite musical, but I love the big orchestral like overtures and the old school stuff like that, and this is really hard. I also like jazzy music, so I'm also thinking like City of Angels. Damn it. But maybe I want some like traditional musical theater with some good dance breaks. So I'm gonna say the Broadway cast album of Crazy for You. Because Gershwin. So you've got some standards, you got some swing, you got some jazz, you got those incredible dance breaks. I'm going to go with Crazy for You.
That's a great choice. That's a great choice.
I had to talk it out. I'm sorry.
No, that was absolutely fine. I think Funny Connection, I could be completely wrong, but I think Stephen Mear did that last time it was in town.
Of course he did.
Stephen Mear. Open air theatre to the Novello. I could be lying, but I'm pretty sure Stephen choreographed. And right, so this is a really tough question. This is a really horrible question, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like that one wasn't hard enough. And this could be an of the time thing, I suppose, because it does change.
You're scaring me.
What to you is the ultimate musical theatre song?
Oh.
The voice, the narrative, the score, the moment.
It's almost impossible to do this. Why are you doing this to me? A song that, because there are lots of great songs where it's more about the voice than it is about the actual song, and then vice versa. I always come back to this song, and it means even more now to me because of the person who I saw sing it that affected me the most. So I'm going to say the fabulous Cole Porter song, So in Love, from Kiss Me Kate. It is the definition of the word haunting for me. And it's just, I don't know, almost like a bad singer can sound great singing it because the song is written so well. But I have seen so many productions of Kiss Me Kate, but I was really lucky and I got to see Perfect Seats, the revival that was with Maren Maisie and Brian Stokes Mitchell. And those two voices singing that song, that's what musical theater is about to me. Maren Maisie sings it and I just melt. God rest that beautiful woman inside and out. And I can't believe it. And after the show, when I saw it, Brian Stokes Mitchell has always been a favorite of mine and a favorite in the industry because he's so lovely. After the show, I had a friend of a friend of a friend get me to meet him, and he brought me and my parents backstage, and I got to hold his Tony. That's not a euphemism. I actually got to hold his Tony. And so that whole experience, seeing that show I love so much, that incredible cast and production, but getting to meet him like that was great. And years later, I've got to meet Maren many, many times. And to me, it's a definitive performance. And I think that she should have won the Tony for that role, hands down. And so that's the one I'm thinking of right now.
Great. That's great. We're going to pause here. We'll just have a little listen of it. And I want to say it's from the 2000/2001 cast recording of Kiss Me Kate. So this is the gorgeous Maren Maisie singing Story.
Taunt me and hurt me, deceive me, desert me, I'm yours till I die, so in love.
And now we're back after hearing the gorgeous Maren Maisie, that little
I love it.
I think now we move on to our final part of the interview, Christina Bianco.
I'm ready.
Questions from your fans. We asked a few Christina questions. So Teddy wants to know, what is your favourite part of performing?
It's not fun performing by yourself. I love to sing. I love singing more than anything in the world. But if you're doing it on your own, it doesn't have that same impact and excitement and joy than if you're doing it in front of an audience. So it's the feedback that I love. I love when I'm putting something out there and they're entertained. The energy in the room, you can feel it bouncing off one another. And that's what I love about performing. Whether you're doing something that's where I get to face them and talk to them like a concert, or whether I'm doing a scene facing somebody, I'm not even breaking the fourth wall, you can feel that shared experience. So that's my favorite thing about performing.
Tom from London wants to know, what is your favourite impression to do? Like, who do you like impersonating the mostest?
I have answered this question 90 billion times, but I will tell you once again that it is Celine Dion. From what you heard today, you know that she was really the first impression I ever took ownership of, so I'm the most comfortable with her. She's like my original baby. The reason I love doing Celine is because it's not just how she sings, it is the way that she speaks and the way that she has the funny mannerisms and the characteristics and the facial expressions and the chest pounding. She's such a complete package to impersonate. And the fact that I can even attempt to take my 4'11" curvy frame and try to be like that beanbowl that she is with that voice, to sing her music, her own music, is a challenge because her range is psychotic, her riffs and runs I can do my best to approximate, but she's just a freaking genius. She's a machine, a technician, I say, a real technician. But then I love, because I know her music so well, and that's why I also love doing an impression of her, because I really do know her canon of material very well. I've been a true hardcore fan. So I do think in my warped mind that I can figure out how she would sing Barbie Girl. And that is the extra fun, because Celine sounds good singing almost anything.
Yeah. If you had to be, this is from Amy in London. Sorry, Amy.
Hi,
If you
Amy
had
in London.
alone on a desert island with one diva, who would it be?
Oh, that is tough. But you know what? The word tough is what I should go with here. It needs to be somebody who can hold their own. Can't be a delicate flower. Somebody who's tough. Tough diva. Oh, you know who's really tough and she'd make me laugh and she'd like chop down a tree? Bette Midler.
Oh, great choice.
Absolutely, Bette Midler. She doesn't back down for anything. She is one of my biggest inspirations, particularly in the many various aspects of what I like to do with my career. People always say, you can't do all these things, you must pick one. I'm like, haha, but Bette Midler did not. And that's one of my, I just love Bette Midler. And I love her attitude and her spunk. So yeah, I would definitely go with Bette Midler.
Finally, Lucy from Coventry wants to know if there's anyone you're trying to vocally master at the moment. Is there a new impression you're working on?
Yes, I've done Ariana Grande, but I'm still not happy with it. So I want to work on Ariana Grande more. But there are two speaking impressions that have been killing me. I desperately want to impersonate Amy Poehler.
Oh, great. A lot of people don't realize that you're a straight impressionist as well as like a singing impressionist.
Oh yeah, I love doing speaking impressions as well.
I really loved about your Fringe show.
Thank you.
You
Well,
had those speaking parts in the middle, like Keira Knightley killed me off.
What I love about what you did at the Fringe was you were in Friendsicle, and I love impersonating most of the female cast members on Friends. So, oh yes, okay, it is great. I am so happy to be here. Yes, okay. That would be my Lisa Kudrow as Phoebe. If I clear my throat, and if I go up and I go down, and I sound really surprised by everything. Yeah, wow, Gunther, oh, that's great. Yeah, it's sort of like Rachel Green, who's perpetually shocked. I did remember the other impression that I really, really want to do. And it's niche, but she needs to be impersonated, and nobody's nailed it, so I want it to be me. Jane Krakowski.
Very good.
Come on. All of her characters are a caricature of themselves.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
way that she speaks, and 30 Rock and on Kimmy Schmidt. So I just desperately want to throw a Jane Krakowski and an Amy Poehler into my set. I've tried Tina Fey. I can't do it. It's like not. I just not have a slightly different tone to my voice. It just didn't have enough isms. But those two women have isms, and I want to get those two.
Christina,
I have enough wigs to be like Moira Rose. I'm wearing a wig right now.
I love it. Obviously, you're wearing a wig.
Why the hell not?
You have nothing if not camp, my love.
I do what I can.
Thank you so much. We at West End Best Friend, all our followers and subscribers, we thank you so much for coming and just doing this little interview with us through Zoom, and we thank you so much.
I'm very happy to do it. Thank you for putting out this content and making people laugh and smile and keeping the theater alive. And thank you for indulging me and my barky dog here in New York. It's a bit chaotic, but I'm so happy to do this.
Thank you so much. You're a dream, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.